Today is probably the hottest day so far of our hike coast to coast. But in the end it's not extremely bad because there's clouds on and off. Actually getting some dark clouds. There's a breeze. Still it's warm. And we have a relatively easy day. Going flat. And only far away in the distance can you see the new hills. Probably the Yorkshire Moor hills that will be reaching the end of next stage. In here we're just walking some country roads and a lot of butterflies. You can see them by a lot of white ones, a lot of, I don't know all the names in English anyway. It's an easy stage, but it's also still quite hard because the feet are hurting a bit from yesterday, which was the longest stage, and also the back is hurting. People say this is a boring stage, or this part, and you can skip it, but I don't really think so, because a lot of things happening. It's flat, but it's not as flat as Holland, where I come from. So here's another butterfly, and there's quite a lot of little birds in the bushes and trees that surround the fields, and as I said, a lot of butterflies. Well, we had more or less interesting days very high up on the fells, because there was only two kinds of birds, or maybe some crows. That was it, and nothing else happening vegetation wise, so not so bad at all. If you go for the huge scenery from mountain tops and cliffs, then this is a bit boring and lacking some views. The flat part really is not that long anyway. We are at the campsite. And it's early evening, and the trees are full of rooks, and just before they were all flying around this tower. This is actually a church. Looks like a fortress, but that's the way the churches look. And I think there's more rooks coming in. They all gather for the night. But just before that, such an epic sight, like from a movie.
Church Holme campsite in Danby Wiske is actually one of the pearls of the Coast to Coast Trail. An amazing honesty shop with fresh fruit, cool drinks, delicious ice cream and homemade pastries. There's a kitchen area that includes a table and a fridge with free milk and a coffee machine. To top it off, there are garden chairs you can take with you to your tent. Along with the friendly welcome from our hosts, Church Holme alone is worth the walk to Danby Wiske.
So no filming yet today because it is we dedicated this as a rest day, and the weather is a lot cooler. Yesterday was very hot, 30 degrees. A relatively easy walk, but still difficult because of the days before and because of the temperature. Anyway, we had time in our schedule for a rest day, and that's what we did. So we're back on track on the trail after our rest day yesterday. It's quite well, nice, warm, really, almost wearing too many clothes, but just nice for walking. Look at these fields. Cabbage seed, that's the English name. Koolzaad, Dutch, as far as I know. Chamomile, whatever you call it.
They're blooming. I really like all the trees bordering the fields and some trees like in the middle. Rather beautiful area if you can appreciate the beauty. And the walking is easy. I think tomorrow will be another day that we will go into the hills. And this is amazing. Field full of clover, but never seen it this high. Amazing high clover. And if there's so many next to each other, then this is going to be a very clear scent coming from them. That's very flowery and nice. Bumblebee seems to prefer the thistle, whatever it's called. Huge cracks. I think all the rain that we got last week, that sort of drops in the mountains there on the fells and never really reaches this area. But this is really heavy. Ooh. I just changed the language of my Merlin bird app, so because I don't know all the English names. But we have clearly the common white-throat, which sings short phrases. The yellowhammer is a very nice little bird. We saw that before, yesterday, the day before. A really cute yellow bird. And it was here before, but maybe it's on the top of that tree. Let's have a look. There's a bird in the dead tree. Right on the top is a bird, or is that just a sparrow? Sounds like it. Swallows flying over. Rolling fields, which I very much appreciate. Bulls, cows and calves. That's a nice combination. A lot of new fences or gates. A lot of gates we have to pass through every day. Right through. We go to the right here. Just a little time ago I was thinking of taking off a shirt, maybe getting a bit warm. Instead we were treated with some rain and it got worse, so we need to put on full rain gear. It's getting less again now, hopefully, and soon. That's what it is. There's nice stretches, small strips of forest. We just saw a woodpecker here. First heard it and then saw it. All kinds of birds. Don't seem to be bothered by the rain. That's nice. A little stairs. Don't know why. But then we have to cross the railroad. So we have to stop. Look and listen. Epic picture. I think the landscape's getting more beautiful, even with little more hills flowing further in the distance. The real hills we'll be climbing tomorrow. The North York Moors. That's serious climbing for sure. Just had another shower, now it's dry, but how dark are these clouds? Ooh. Beautiful scenes and we're getting closer to the hills over there. Our stop for tonight will be before the hills. There's a butterfly here, one we don't see very many of, but it's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. As you can see, the sun has come out. There's some wind, but the temperature is really excellent for walking, especially knowing when the rest of Europe, mainland Europe, and also specifically back home in Holland, there is a heat wave. I read something about Paris expecting 50 degrees. That's totally ridiculous. Imagine we would have something like that here. We're trying to walk with a backpack and then tomorrow going up the hills. We have perfect weather now. This is our spot for tonight, camping behind the pub in Ingleby, was it? We're the only ones. Where did all the hikers go? We didn't see any today. I think this may be a cricket field of the local village. The village was very small, but they have a cricket field. Beautiful, sitting in the sun here. Alas, the sun is really nearly going down behind the church, I think it is there. But it's golden hour for photographers. Golden glow on all the trees and everything. A lot of birds here singing. Greenfinch. What's the other one? Goldfinch, yes. Singing their songs, but now they're maybe done. The walk today took us from the lovely Church Holme campsite to the foot of the hills of the North York Moors National Park. The biggest challenge today was crossing the A19, a busy 4-lane motorway, but we managed to get across in one piece. Taking photos because it's a beautiful sight, a very high point apparently. We've climbed all the way up and are treated with a magnificent view. A motorway down there that we crossed yesterday, and in the far distance you can see the mountains from the Yorkshire Dales, I think. Must be. I'm sure that's right about there. That's where we come from days ago. So walking through forest and now some open lands, and it's a beautiful day. And it promises to be a nice and sunny day. Mostly it's still a cool breeze. Maybe it's going to be 20 degrees up here, maybe a little cooler. Good weather for walking, eh? So sign says we have to follow the signs of Cleveland Way now for a while, because it's apparently the same path for some time. So we'll head up that way and we'll leave that view behind us. We go back into the forest, which is beautiful with lots of butterflies and birds. And just before there was this beautiful butterfly that sat on my watch. Didn't stay long, of course, for me to take a picture, but it was nice. We've climbed even further and higher. And what we have here, blueberry bushes. That's nice. That reminds me of Sweden. There are actually berries here, but They're very small. Ooh. Can you see it? Wonder how they taste, if they're any good. So small. So, oh! I smashed it. Okay. This tastes good. Came out of the woods and it opens up more hills and fields and sheep meadows with dry stone walls. We are on the descent, but still an amazing view. These nice colorful buildings out there. Orange roofs. Some more hills. We're walking through patches of forest, which is very nice for the diversity. Some pine trees here and lots of other trees. Over there the fields, beautiful views. We were on the hill there. Lots of blueberries here, and they are a bit bigger than we saw earlier. These are nice. Time for our fruit break. That's what it is. There's actually loads of them here, all covered with blueberries. All the hill there as well. Oh, so many blueberries. So we're walking here. Heather on the hill over there, flowering heather, purple, and just realized in the far distance, somewhere, must be there, that's actually already the sea, the North Sea, because with the monocular I could see some boats, and if you know, then maybe you can see. Still amazing view. The wind's increasing here on the top. Hope it doesn't make too much noise. I've got a wind cap on, but I don't know how good it is. So already seeing the sea. Still have several days to go, so we were doubting, but it's really the sea. So we have this view, and now we reached the top. And we have a view there as well. And there. And now we have to go down and see if we'll be on time for this little cafe slash shop. That's the only thing that will provide food for us today, if still open. But it might be closing at 4. So, out of the wind and the breeze, must be a lot of noise as well on the camera. And cooling off as well. An orchid. Another orchid. We are at the top, well, of this part. The view extending also to the east, except we have to go, I think, south a little bit higher there. Now you can see more clearly and more of the sea, the North Sea, which is the end of our destination. It will be several days before we actually reach that and finished. So these kind of stones are our descent. It's quite an effort for the muscles after an entire day of walking to keep yourself in balance and to, to go down. Still takes muscle power. So actually I think we're going slower downhill than uphill. Well, I want to be careful, of course. Just taking it easy. I think about 1 kilometer to go. We'll go up to the right and then there'll be our camping farm. This time another beautiful animation with the hills sticking out of the surrounding countryside. Down in the valley and back up the hills until we reach Chopgate. And Beak Hill Farm, our destination for the night, and the end of part 5 of this Coast to Coast series. The next and final episode will take us all the way to the North Sea with its beautiful cliffs. Along the way, lots of wind, colorful heather, cute towns and delicious ice cream. Quite impressive.